You may have seen it last night. It could have been even early afternoon, depending on where you are in the United States or around the world. But Israel has responded with military action against Iran, and we confirm at least that there have been strikes inside the Islamic Republic of Iran. There have been other reports; those have yet to be confirmed about strikes on Iranian targets potentially inside Syria as well as Iraq. But we know that there have been strikes inside Iran. One very close to the I'd maybe call it infamous Natanz nuclear plant. Now, this is a plant that you may have heard the name before because if you've heard the Iranian nuclear deal, the JCPOA, this has been the nuclear plant where there's been so much focus on whether, even with the JCPOA, that Joint Plan of Cooperation, was put in place between the United States and the P5+1, so the permanent 5 members of the Security Council plus Germany and Iran, about monitoring their nuclear program. Well, there were always issues about Natanz. And why is that an issue? Well, Israel might have hit Natanz, the nuclear base. Iran is saying that there's no nuclear issues that they're dealing with right now, but they've had to make that statement to their citizens, which means this strike was very close to Natanz. You've also got a huge military base there, an airfield. So it may have been a strike on Iran's airfield. Will, just to kind of explain to people, I know we're going to put a map up as well of where these attacks were centered, where they focus so far. What we know and what's been confirmed inside Iran is, near a nuclear facility that a lot of people have heard of called Natanz, which is also very close to a major Iranian military airbase.
Yeah, so the explosions were reported by Iran actually on the ground there near Isfahan, which is the central part of Iran. And the way that it's being reported by them obviously is a little bit different than the media, the Western media, right? But there doesn't appear to be any injuries or casualties, which is very interesting in how this whole thing is escalating, right? Because like you guys pointed out earlier, the unprecedented attacks last weekend on Saturday that Iran launched, 300 plus up to maybe 1,000 missiles or drones over Israel were over the populated areas. So this is a very targeted and very direct attack in Iran from Israel for the first time. And there are reports that are unconfirmed all over there were some in northern Iran and by the nuclear facilities, which are kind of scattered. I believe there's 7 total areas. And so there were a lot of reports about up to 7 different areas within Iran where the nuclear or military facilities are located. But right now, we know that the only area that has been confirmed that has taken damage, if you will, is Isfahan there in central Iran, which is a key area of their military operations.
What we do know now from the United States is that Israel had to go it alone here. Maybe no one got in their way. No allies actually got physically in their way. But they did not, at least the U.S., was coming out, they're not standing with Israel. They're not saying we support these actions. They're saying actually, we had some knowledge of them right before, and that they hope the tensions will go down.
Yes, Jordan. The way this is proceeding is fascinating, and it's all very groundbreaking. So as you point out, in terms of the geopolitics of this, the fact that Iran is now launched from its own territory into Israel's territory, and of course, I'll note that, of course, Iran seemed to, nothing hit, but seemed to be launching against population areas. Israel's response, and again, Israel hasn't even taken official credit for this, but the world is assuming it's Israel. Israel's response has been directed at very strategic, tactical military targets, again, showing the difference between the two nations. One wants genocide, and one is just trying to live and defend itself, and as it defends itself, defends the West.
After Iran launched its unprecedented attack on Israel, Iran was quick to come out and say, and by the way, this is what will happen if Israel responds. Now we'll actually see, can they put their money where their mouth is? They're big talkers in Iran. That first strike, again, it was very dangerous to do so, but it wasn't very effective on Israel. Of course, any loss of life is horrible, but you put up 1,000 drones and ballistic missiles and they're all getting shot down. Doesn't look great for your military, but we know Iran's got plenty more to shoot back. The question is, will they? This is what they said they would do if Israel took an action against Iran inside Iran. That's what's key here. This isn't hitting Hezbollah in Lebanon. This is not hitting Hamas in Gaza. Take a listen to the Iranian foreign minister.
In case the Israeli regime embarks on adventurism again and takes action against the interests of Iran, the next response from us will be immediate and at a maximum level.
How much do you think this changes the entire region? I mean, Iran has lost, doesn't have a ton of friends in that region, though they have certainly been playing differently since kind of the end of the Trump administration and how the Abraham Accords have fallen apart. I mean, to me, this is just another example of the disastrous foreign policy of the Biden administration. I mean, Iran felt emboldened, Jeff, to strike Israel directly, and now Israel has had to respond directly. I mean, this is how you get to another world war.
That's exactly right, Jordan. Look, Israel is extremely sensitive to Americans, to whoever sits in the White House. Israel knows that America has always been its strongest ally. But this president and this administration is not as strong an ally as Obama was not as strong an ally. And the fact is, Obama first broke ground with creating daylight between Israel policy and America policy, and in fact, not advising Israel of what it was going to do in the region, which threatened Israel directly. And you see now, the aftermath of Israel shooting down that ridiculous, massive, unprecedented launches from Iran into Israel's own territory was to take the win, as the president said. What does that mean, take the win? It's not a win for Israel to allow Iran or any country to launch a barrage of missiles into its airspace and try to wipe out its population. That is not a win. Israel had no choice but to react. And as you point out, the vast difference, the night and day difference between what we're seeing now and what we saw under the previous administration, under President Trump, which led to massive breakout of peace, normalization, true friendships, actually warm peace between Israel and a number of Arab states that are also now, as a result, much stronger American allies, has all been destroyed by this notion of appeasement to Iran by this administration. And Israel knows it has to survive, so Israel's striking back.
We are really grateful to be joined in just a moment by General Amir Avivi. He's a former retired brigadier general in the IDF.
The idea that we will negotiate with Iran, that we'll negotiate their nuclears, as opposed to standing strong and being a deterrent threat. There seems to be the different positions taken by Israel's allies, most notably the United States of America. And that seems to have wrought that kind of a change. Speaking from a role both as defending the people of Israel in the land of Israel, but also being on the front line of this global jihad. After all, Iran has repeatedly threatened death to America. Iran has been in pursuit of and received intercontinental ballistic missiles, which can reach America. What should America's role be, in your opinion, in terms of defending both Israel, but also, more importantly for America itself?
Iran has global aspirations. They want global domination. They want to control all the strains. They want to control world economy. And the only way to deal with them is with strength. Is posing a credible military threat. Is demanding they dismantle all their nuclear capabilities and sites. If they don't do that, they need to be attacked. There is no appeasement with Iran. Iran only understands harsh power, and this is what is expected from the US, to lead globally, to build a coalition, to stand strong against Iran. And this, by the way, will balance the world also globally. It will deter also China from attacking Taiwan, it will deter Russia from further aggression in Europe. Without American leadership, the whole globe destabilizes.
Thank you, General Avivi.